for my Brazilian students, which is the difference between make and do. I don't know if other languages have this problem, but I know Spanish and Portuguese do. And we will see how you can separate your do's from your makes. All right, so team, let's go. First up, let's talk about the Cheshire Cat, one of my favorite literary characters. To me, he represents the irony of life's choices. You can never be completely happy. But when Alice arrives in Wonderland, she asks a simple question: where should I go? And she receives a more complex but fair answer. That depends on where you want to end up. Team, it's the first week of the second semester. We've reached the top, and now it's time to come down. And I would like to know where you would like to go, where you would like to end up in your English journey. Some of you are here for professional reasons. Others have a trip planned. Others just like to learn new stuff. But whatever it is, you should know where you are heading so that we can align your studies together with your goals. Number two, make and do. And I've taught this class a couple of ways, and this time I'm going to be talking about 3 points. And the first one is the big one. Make involves creating, while do involves performing. And some of my students like different words. Producing, creating, reaching an end result, production, going through phases. I've heard students make a mental model for themselves in different ways. And it can be tangible, like a cake. You start with some eggs, poof, comes a cake. But it can also be something intangible, like a good point. So the person's there, they thought about something, they verbalize it, they created this idea, this point. So it does not need to be something physical. Now do, it focuses on performing or completing an action. And right here, we have a good example. You make a pizza, but you do the cooking. So with the pizza, you start with the dough and the ingredients, the toppings, you put it in the oven, then it's ready. But the cooking, it's just an act of making food, and you do that action. Another example that my students like is the teacher makes the homework, the students do the homework. I create it, students, they perform it, they execute it, they complete it. Number two is about specificity. And let me explain why I chose this word. Make, when we need to use the word make, it's hard to substitute it. For example, I can say bake a pizza. I can kind of say cook a pizza, but make a pizza is what you're looking for. With do, we're often choosing to turn something into an action, turning something into a verb. And, I speak Portuguese, so we can see this in Portuguese with new words. We do brainstorming, we do networking, we do download. But in English, these all have verb forms. We brainstorm, we network, we download. So even in English, there are many things that did not have a verb form, like dishes, plates. So you do the dishes, you do the laundry. But then when we arrive at a grocery list, we really don't have another way. I guess you could write a grocery list, but make is the most specific word for this case. All right, that's number two. Number three, which is something that I really like. Make is one of my favorite words in English. We're in July, but my students who have their calendar, they'll see that I'll say, let's make this year magic. And make has a greater sense of agency than do. And agency, I think it's one of my current favorite words. Make is one of my favorite words in general. But agency is about feeling control, feeling confident that you can influence the results of your life. And make has agency. In Portuguese, you say ganha dinheiro. It's almost like a present. You get money. But in English, you make money. Somebody's important to you. You make time. You make something happen. You make an effort. You make it a great day. And when you use the word make, it shows an active effort towards doing something. And I like that active component. It is something I don't hear non-natives really using. So it's think of it like an extra tool you can have. So that's the new content this time around for Seeing Make and Do. And what will you make happen in the second half of the year? Well, we're expecting our son, so we haven't really been making plans. Just survive. That's what I will make happen. And what are three things you do at work almost every day? I talk, I look at the camera, and I send messages. Notice that I did not need to use the word do in any of these examples. But what is the last thing I made? I made this PDF, and then it's very specific. I had to create it. Team, our game of the week, Wikipedia. And it has to do with our expression of the week, to go down the rabbit hole, which is when you start something that seems simple and it gets much more complex. Now, I don't know if this has happened to you, where you go up to a Wikipedia and then you click on a hyperlink and then another hyperlink, and then you're seeing some raccoons playing ping pong, and you go down a Wikipedia rabbit hole. Well, this is the Wikipedia game, where you need to reach point B from point A. And they have the official game right here. So you need to go from chromium to dagger. But you can also do it with topics of your choosing. The first person to reach Cruzeiro Esporte Clube. And you start from a certain point and see how many clicks it takes to get there. Alice Day. This is the anniversary of Alice in Wonderland. So for Alice Day, I am using the wrong. Yeah, I won't change anything. This is the wrong version of PDF. Do not worry about it. But so Thursday is Alice Day, a day where we celebrate Alice in Wonderland. And July 4th, I don't know if it is a coincidence or not, but it was when Alice was first told. If you are an Alice fan like me, you can hear a little bit more about it. And why do you think Alice in Wonderland is celebrated until today? I think it shows an understanding of the fragility of human psychology very well. So I think it's a fun way to talk about some of these points. Team, last up, the class you will make. I've introduced this in our class. Each of my students, every couple of months, they teach a class. And I film them so that they can see their improvement. If I go to the gym, I can look in the mirror, I can see them getting bigger. But with English, it's a little bit more difficult. So my students, you will be teaching a class, 5 to 15 minutes. The first step is just to think of what you wish to teach. And I guess my students fall into 3 categories, which are number 1, general speaking improvement. So if I have a beginner student and they want to tell me about their dog, my dog's name is Fido. Fido eats a lot. He is very funny. He chases his tail. And I really love Fido and hope nothing happens to him. Oh, perfect. For somebody who's beginning to speak English, they're practicing speaking out loud, gaining confidence, and ordering their ideas. Amazing. I have a lot of students who come to me for professional reasons or goal-oriented reasons. I have a student who she is traveling to India. She will talk about India. I have a lot of students who they want to tie their English to their careers. So you can demonstrate that you know what you're talking about in English. Maybe be even useful on your resume. It's like, oh, do you speak English? Boom, here's the proof. Last up, personal growth. Sometimes people just want to learn something or do something fun. And that is an awesome reason as well. So I have a student, and she said that she wants to talk about sparkling wine. She wants something lighter this month. Great. Let's talk about sparkling wine. I'm curious. So team, there's no wrong answer except not to do it. Team, bring your idea next week. Thank you, and I hope to see you in class.